Hello and welcome to Quiz Bowl 2012, brought to you by AETN. I'm your hostess, Evangeline Park, and I'm truly honored and happy to be here with you. For months, teams all over the state have been preparing and competing with the goal of being here in the AETN studios this day. Only 14 teams are here competing in 7 final matches in 7 divisions. This is the finals for Quiz Bowl 2012. Our Quiz Bowl broadcast will be divided into 2 parts this morning. We'll see the top 2 finalists from the 2A, 7A, 4A, and 5A divisions. We will then have a 60-minute break, and at 2 this afternoon, we have the 3A, 6A, and 1A divisions. Now, during the next few hours, you're going to witness a program that is educational, entertaining, and definitely exciting, because the teams today are going head-to-head for the state championship. Before we get the match started, I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce you to one of the people who makes this live show possible by providing studio and broadcast services for these matches. Alan Weatherly, Executive Director here at AETN. Hello.
How are you? Welcome to the Super Bowl.
Well, this is it, and I can feel the excitement in the room. Can you, Alan?
I certainly can. You know, for AETN, this is what we do. You know, we're about education. We don't do sports. Don't tell anybody, but we don't do sports, but we do something better.
Okay.
We educate, and this is a wonderful example, and these kids are intimidating, frankly. Tremendous.
I'm pretty scared, too. I'm biting my nails. Alan, tell us about the relationship between AETN and Quiz Bowl.
I think for 27 years, we've been the home for the finals. And it's just a tremendous thing. The Quiz Bowl Association is fantastic to work with, very, very professional. We have our staff and volunteers here. We always look forward to this, and it's something that we should do. You know, we're a part of Arkansas, and we want to do this for another 27 years if we can.
Wonderful. And why do you think programs like this are so important, especially when they involve young people?
Well, obviously, education is the key. And we'll try to do our part, but these kids, it's trite to say, but it's true, they're the future. And that's just important to all of us, and we're so proud to be a part of this.
All right, Alan, thank you so much.
You bet, thank you. I'm superfluous, now I'm off.
All right, thank you, Alan Weatherly. Next, I'd like to bring in my good friend, Bill Davis. Bill is going to be our color commentator. Bill Davis, man, you look good.
Oh, thank you. But not near as good as those folks back there.
I know, that's right.
And
they do
I'm
look
not near
great.
as smart as they are either.
Wow.
We are going to see today some really close games.
Okay.
You talk about nail biters. We're going to see some of those, and we might see it right here at the get-go. Gurdon was here last year for the first time. Cedar Ridge, this is their first time to be here. They are so excited. Their mascot's even with them today.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
We get to say mascot?
Yeah, yes, we can.
Okay,
You know,
I've always wanted to see that.
Let me say this too. When we were talking about that AETN doesn't do sports, if you visit with these students, they don't only just do Quiz Bowl, they do band, sports, all kinds of sports. They're so involved. That's another level of their intelligence. They can just master it all.
Okay, before you get out of here, what is going to be the key to winning the matches today, since you said it's going to be so close?
Well, lots of keys, but one of them is the coaches.
Okay.
How they handle the students. You don't want to put too much pressure on them.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll check back in with you a little bit later, Bill. Thank you, Bill. We're going to talk more with Bill as the day goes on. Before we get started, let's meet our judges. They are Sammy Benjamin, Brent Miller, and Barry Burns. The all-tournament team and MVP judges are Carolyn Schry and Rick Clow. Our game scorekeeper is Vicki Johnson, and our timekeeper is Kathy Hayes. We also want you to know that you can watch this broadcast live online at www.arquizbowl.org. Before we begin our second match for the 2A championship, we'd like to honor our 3rd and 4th place finalists. In 3rd place, we have Eureka Springs. In 4th place, we have Murfreesboro. Now we're ready to introduce the teams for our 2A Conference Championship match between Gurdon and Cedar Ridge. First from Gurdon, we have Dylan Watson, a junior. Their captain is Malia Chester, a junior. Caitlin Dickerson, a senior. Michaela Harper, a senior. Their alternates are Megan Trout, a senior, Nick Stubbs, a sophomore, and Crystal Bell, a sophomore. Their coach is Marcus Crawley. Let's hear it for Gurdon. And now to Cedar Ridge, we have Bryce Cash, a sophomore, their captain Jeffrey Stewart, a sophomore, Ryan Paul, a junior, Tim Selvage, a sophomore. Their alternates are Chandler McCoy, a sophomore, Karen Hartsfield, a junior, Wesley Guatney, a freshman, Brian Cumby, a freshman, and Hunter Chinwood, a junior. And their coach is Carol Woods. Let's hear it for Cedar Ridge. And now on to our match. I'd like to wish both teams the best of luck, and now I'm going to turn it over to our quiz master, Steve Patterson. Steve, take it away.
Thank you, Evangeline. Appreciate you very much, and we appreciate our former quiz master, Kathy Hayes, very much. She's here in the audience with us today and left big shoes to fill, but I hope to do my best today with these two great teams. Here we are at the 2A state championships. You should be very proud, and your school should be very proud. We're going to, Malia, you're our captain today for Gurdon. Jeffrey, you're captain for Cedar Ridge. Let's have our first toss-up question. This 1959 musical, written by Rodgers and Hammerstein, features the songs Do, Re, Mi, and, all right, Gurdon, Malia.
The Sound of Music?
That's correct. Question number 2. In what year did the following take place? Babe Ruth hit his first Yankee home run. The League of Nations met for the first time. All right, Gurdon, Malia.
1919?
No, let me finish for Cedar Ridge. And Warren Harding wins the U.S. presidential nomination. Bryce.
1921?
Bryce, you missed it by a year. 1920 is our correct answer. Question number 3. What measure of central tendency is described as the number of terms divided by the sum of their reciprocals? Malia.
Mean?
More specific.
Average?
No. Jeffrey.
Geometric mean.
No, it's the harmonic mean. Harmonic mean. Question number 4. What operating system is based on a version of free BSD Unix called Darwin? Call time on that. The answer is Macintosh OS 10 or OS X would have been acceptable. Question number 5. Identify this literary masterpiece written by Aristophanes that tells the story of Dionysus, the god of drama. It has the same name as a type of amphibian. No guesses? It's called frogs. Frogs. Question number 6. What title is given to the person who is the head of the Buddhist community and the traditional ruler of Malia?
Dalai Lama?
That's correct. Question number 7. There's about 5 of them in a lightning bolt, and one of them can vaporize a human limb. It takes 1.602 times 10 to the 19th electrons to equal the charge in one of what SI unit of electric charge? All right, Cedar Ridge, Ryan.
Volts?
No. Gurdon, do you have an answer? Dylan.
Kilowatt?
No, it's a column. Column. Question number 8 is math computation. So get your pencils and your paper out. And here we go with math computation. You'll have 20 seconds to answer. The sum of 4 consecutive integers is 122. Find the sum of the smallest and the largest. Answers, please. All right, right at the time, Bryce.
29 and 30?
No. Gurdon? Malia?
59?
No, it's 61. 61 is the correct answer. Here's question number 9 for both teams. Translate the Latin phrase, cogito ergo sum. No answers. That means I think, therefore I am. Question number 10. In 1928, what four-term governor of New York became the first Roman Catholic to be nominated by a majority party for the office of president? That was a long time ago. It's Al Smith. Al Smith. Here's question 11, and it happens to be another math computation for both teams. Pencils at the ready? Here we go. What is the base 10 equivalent to the base 4 number 1031? Cedar Ridge, Jeffrey.
77.
Jeffrey, you're absolutely right. Question number 12. The cells of all living organisms are divided into two classifications. In which class of cells is there a clearly defined nucleus? Jeffrey.
Eukaryotes.
You're right. Question number 13. The French built this chain of defensive fortifications on its border with Germany between World War I and World War II. Name this line of defense that was designed to stop any future German invasions. All right, I'll give you the answer for that. It's the Maginot Line. Maginot Line. Question number 14. She is one of the most prominent authors in world literature, winning the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1993. Name this author of Song of Solomon and Beloved. Malia.
Toni Morrison.
You're right. Good job. Question number 15. Walter Hancock is given credit for finishing the Stone Mountain Sculpture Project outside of Atlanta. What sculptor actually started the project? He later created an even bigger outdoor project called Mount Rushmore. You're going to remember when I say it. It's Gutzon Borglum. Question 16. For any group, it is equal to the product of an element and its inverse. Name this type of element that is equal to 0 for addition and 1 for multiplication. Malia.
Identity, property.
That's absolutely right. Question 17. By the result of the Treaty of Waitangi, control over what group of islands with its capital at Wellington? Malia.
New Zealand.
That's right. Question number 18. A cover of a Hank Ballard song inspired this dance craze in the 1960s. What is the name of this dance inspired by the Chubby Checker remake? Malia.
The Twist.
Yes. I know your parents were out there buzzing in for you on that one. Question number 19. Which planet is located 5.2 astronomical units from the sun? 2 of its moons are larger. Jeffrey.
Mars.
No. 2 of its moons are larger than the planet Mercury. Dylan.
Saturn.
You're close. Jupiter. Question number 20. In what 5-act Henrik Ibsen play does Dr. Thomas Stockman, upon inspecting the public baths, find them contaminated, thus endangering his town's livelihood? That is an enemy of the people. And that is the end of our first round with our score, Gurdon 60 and Cedar Ridge 20. Do I keep going? They're going to make changes? All right, we're going to make some changes with Cedar Ridge. Gurdon, you may make any changes you need to make as well. Welcome back to Quiz Bowl 2012. In our break, we had a couple of changes made on both teams. Gurdon has brought in Megan. Good to have you. And Cedar Ridge has brought in Chandler and Wesley. Good to have you boys with us. All right, we're going to begin now our second round of play for those at home. This is a toss-up round with a chance for a team to get a bonus question if they get the toss-up correct. Here we go with our first toss-up question. Other than the vomer, it is the only bone on the face without a pair. What is this Malia?
Hyoid.
No. What is this largest, strongest bone in the face forming the complete lower jaw? Jeffrey.
Mandible.
You're right. And Jeffrey, you have earned your team a bonus in the category of American literary characters. Your team may confer together on the answers on this, but Jeffrey, when you're speaking to me, speak loudly and look at me. Here we go. Given that these characters from American novels or plays, identify the work. Number 1, Holden and Phoebe Caulfield.
Pass.
All right, number 2, John Thornton and his dog named Buck. Answer, please.
Wild Edge.
No, let's go to number 3, Tom and Laura Wingfield. Jeffrey, I need an answer.
Pass.
All right, and question 4, Billy Pilgrim and Wild Bob.
Pass.
All right, that was a difficult category. You have a young team, so you haven't gotten to many of these stories yet. Holden and Phoebe Caulfield is The Catcher in the Rye. John Thornton and his dog named Buck is The Call of the Wild. Tom and Laura Wingfield is The Glass Menagerie, and Billy Pilgrim and Wild Bob is Slaughterhouse-Five. All right, but you got 10 points for getting the toss-up right, so let's go on to question number 22 for both teams, and here it is. What is the name of the central location of the peaceful protest that toppled the government of Egypt in February of 2011? Okay, the answer there is Tahrir Square or Freedom Square, as it also came to be known. All right, here's a toss-up for both teams. Identify the unscrupulous miser who taught the boys in Oliver Twist how to pick pockets and steal for him. All right, we'll go give the answer on that. It's Fagin. Fagin. You remember it now, don't you? All right, question number 24. Its syntax is derived from C++, and its original name was Oak. What is this programming language, a popular web tool created by Sun Microsystems? Wesley.
Binary code.
No. Gurdon, do you have an answer? It's called Java. Java. All right, question number 25. A Spaniard, he came to power in AD 117 and suppressed Bar Kokhba's Jewish rebellion 18 years later. Name this Roman emperor, also known for a defensive wall built in northern England. Jeffrey.
Hadrian.
You're right. Jeffrey, you have earned your team a calculation bonus in solving equations. It says to give all solutions for x to each of the following equations, and you'll have 20 seconds for each of these. Here's the first one. 3x plus 4 equals 19 minus 2x.
X equals 3.
That's correct. Our next question is, absolute value of quantity 4x minus 3 equals 5.
X equals 2 and 7.
No, that's incorrect. All right, our next one says absolute value of quantity x plus 2 equals 3 minus x. Answers, Jeffrey?
Pass.
Okay, and the final one is absolute value of quantity 2x minus 5, closed quantity, minus 3 equals 4. Answers, please. All right, our time runs out on that one. All right, let me give you the answers to numbers 2, 3, and 4. Number 2 was 2. That was the correct answer. But the next one was negative 0.5, 0.5. So our negative 1/2 would have been acceptable. And then on number 3, the answers were 0.5 or 1/2. And then on number 4, the answer was -1 and 6. Okay, let's move on now. You got 15 points out of that, so great job, Cedar Ridge. Let's go on to our next toss-up now for both teams. Here it is. Identify the physical law which states that in every non-reversible process, the entropy of the universe increases. Malia?
Law of entropy.
No? Cedar Ridge? Wesley?
Archimedes' principle.
No, it's the second law of thermodynamics. All right, here's a toss-up for both teams. In any regular polygon, this is the perpendicular distance from the center to a side. Jeffrey?
The apothem.
You're right. And Jeffrey, again, you have earned your team a bonus, this time in Notorious Nazis. All right. Here we go. Identify the following men associated with the German Nazi Party of the 20th century. Number 1, the head of the German Air Force.
Air Force. Tchaikovsky.
No. The head of the German Gestapo.
Himmler.
Yes. Number 3, Hitler's Minister of Propaganda.
Goebbels.
Yes. And number 4, Hitler's primary architect and the head of armaments. Answer, please.
Pass.
That's Albert Speer, and the head of the German Air Force, Hermann Göring. All right, let's go on to another toss-up for both teams. We have one bonus left, so let's see if we can get it with this category. Name the hunter who, upon surprising Artemis bathing, was changed into a stag and later killed by his own dogs. The answers, they had a rough time back there in Greece. It's Actaeon. Question 29. Name the belt of terrain south of the Sahara Desert with either wet, dry, tropical, or semi-dry tropical climates in which precipitation is highly variable from year to year. Jeffrey?
Savannah.
No? All right, Malia.
Tropic of Cancer.
No, it's the Sahel. All right, question 30. How does the word Judy function in the following sentence? Steve gave Judy a puppy for Christmas. Jeffrey?
Direct object.
No. Malia?
Indirect object.
It is the indirect object. Puppy is the direct object. All right, Malia, you've earned your team a bonus in cubism. All right. Who is responsible for the following works of Cubist art? Ready? Here's number 1. Nude descending a staircase, number 39.
Rodin.
No. Demoiselles d'Avignon. Answer, Malia?
Monet.
No. The film Ballet Mécanique.
Pass.
Okay. And Portrait of Pablo Picasso, 1912. Malia?
Picasso.
That's what I would have guessed too, but it's not. It's Juan Gris on that one. Picasso did number 2, Demoiselle d'Avignon. And Nude Descending a Staircase, number 39, was Marcel Duchamp. And Ballet Mécanique is Ferdinand Lager. All right, but that was the last question of round 2. So at the end of 2 rounds of play, we have a very tight game. It's 70 for Gurdon and 65 for Cedar Ridge. Now, before we make our changes in our staff up here on stage, let's get our categories for our lightning round. And so you'll want to write these categories down. The first one is famous quotes. Identify the person who said or wrote the following familiar quotations. Category number 2 is chemical ions. Given a chemical formula, give the name of the polyatomic ion it represents. And best pictures. Given the year and some of its stars, name the film that won the Best Picture Oscar. You have 60 seconds to decide, and we'll take a break.
Well, Bill, that was very exciting.
It was, and what you're seeing there is nerves.
Oh, okay.
If this was your first time up there, wouldn't you be nervous?
Yes.
That's what you're seeing. And when the second half comes up, I'm going to expect both teams to perform a little bit better than they did at the beginning, because a lot of those answers, when they heard them, you could see the expression on their faces. I should have known that. I should have known that. And another thing that you're seeing up here too is that the interest that is going on inside their minds when they're doing this back and forth, and I'm seeing good leadership, because both of the ones on this side, on either side, the captains are saying, okay, I don't know that. Let's not waste our energy.
Yeah.
And that's really good, because if they waste their energy on trying to think of something they can't, then the next one that they can, it'll be burned up.
Now, there's a new change with the math computations. Tell us about that.
Yes, there is. They get 20 seconds this year, so you're going to hear a little bit more difficult math questions.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we're ready to go back to the match, Steve.
Movies? Okay. All right. Welcome back to our stage here at AETN. Our teams have picked their categories. Cedar Ridge picked first as they're 5 points behind, and they picked chemical ions. And then Gurdon picked best pictures. So we're going to leave famous quotes for another day. And we'll start with Cedar Ridge. We're going to put 60 seconds on the clock. And Jeffrey, make sure that you speak directly to me now when you give an answer, all right? All right. Let me clear my timer, and we're ready to go. All right, chemical ion says, given a chemical formula, give the name of the polyatomic ion it represents. Here we go. CO3, 2 minus.
Carbonate.
Yes. OH minus.
Hydroxide.
Yes. CrO4, 2 minus.
Chromate.
Yes. NH4 plus.
Ammonium.
Yes. SO4, 2 minus.
Sulfate.
Yes. C2H3O2 minus.
Hydronium.
No. PO4, 3 minus.
Phosphate.
Yes. MNO4 minus. And there's our timer. So that will not pass over since you didn't give an answer. Good job though, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 correct for Cedar Ridge, congratulations. They do have one that they're going to pass over to you, Malia, and it is number 6, right judges? And it is this one, C2H3O2 minus.
Hydrocarbonate.
No, that is acetate. And the one that you did not answer, the timer ran out, was permanganate. All right, Cedar Ridge has had their chance now at the 60-second round. We'll get 1 minute on the clock now for you, Malia, and the Gurdon team. And you've picked Best Pictures, given the year and some of its stars. Name the film that won the Best Picture Oscar. Are you ready? All right, here we go. 1959, Charlton Heston and Jack Hawkins.
Treasure Island.
No. 1972, Al Pacino, James Caan, and Robert Duvall.
Godfather.
Yes. 1976, Sylvester Stallone and Talia Shire.
Rocky.
Yes. 1988, Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise.
Top Gun.
No. 1989, Jessica Tandy and Morgan Freeman.
Pass.
1993, Liam Neeson, Ben Kingsley, and Ray Fiennes.
Schindler's List.
Yes. 1994, Tom Hanks and Robin Wright Penn.
Philadelphia.
No. 1995, Mel Gibson and James Robinson. And there's our time. All right. Didn't answer on that one, so I won't pass that over to Cedar Ridge. But you got 1, 2, 3 correct, Gurdon. So we're going to pass on 4 over to you, Jeffrey. Are you ready? 1959, Charlton Heston and Jack Hawkins.
Color of money.
No. 1988, Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise.
The Graduate.
No. 1989, Jessica Tandy and Morgan Freeman.
Shawshank Redemption.
No. And 1994, Tom Hanks and Robin Wright Penn.
Pass.
Okay. That one was Forrest Gump. I know we had people out in our studio audience wanting to give those answers. 1959, Charlton Heston and Jack Hawkins was Ben-Hur, A Tale of the Christ. And 1988, Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise, that was Rain Man. And 1989, Jessica Tandy and Morgan Freeman, Driving Miss Daisy. And then the one Malia that the time ran out on with Mel Gibson and James Robinson was Braveheart. Braveheart. All right. We would have known that next one with Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, I bet. That ship will not sink. All right. That's the end of our lightning round, and it's still a very close game as we have Cedar Ridge with 125 and Gurdon with 100. All right, do we have any changes that we'd like to make in our teams? Yes, we're going to make a change here with Gurdon. All right, we're back here at the ATN Studios and ready for our fourth and final round for the 2A State Championship. And Gurdon has brought in Nick. Nick, welcome to the game. And you've got a little bit of work to do. Your team's down just a few points, so let's see what happens here. We have 200 points up for grabs for these two teams in this last round. Good luck to both of you. Toss-ups only. Here's our first one. During the reign of the Ayatollah Khomeini, Iran was run by the Islamic clergy. What is the name for any government where the clergy exercises? Malia.
Theocracy.
You're right. Question 32. Composed on April 24, 1792 by Claude Joseph Roger de Lisle as a marching song, and 3 years later was accepted as the French national anthem. Name this song. No answers. It's the Marseillaise. Marseillaise. Question 33. What is the name for the pre-adult stage in a grasshopper's life cycle? Jeffrey.
Nymph.
Yes. Math computation is for our next question. Grab your pencils and paper, and here we go. Into how many degrees does 5 pi divided by 4 radians convert? Jeffrey.
210 degrees.
No.
270 degrees?
We missed it by, it's 225. 225. You both hit around it. Question number 35. Identify the Shakespearean character who was a black Moorish commander. Jeffrey.
Othello.
Yes. Question 36. What is the name for a phase of the business cycle during which economic activity is at its lowest? Jeffrey.
Trough.
Yes. Question number 37. What number can be mathematically defined as the infinite sum of integral iterations for k of 1 over k factorial, is irrational, and is the base of natural logarithms? Jeffrey.
E.
Yes. Question 38. Some expressions don't mean what they say. Real meaning cannot be derived from their individual elements, like Amelia.
Idiom.
Yes. You anticipated. Nice. Number 39. Methyl salicylate, better known as wintergreen, is one of the chemicals that can be produced from the making of what drug? Jeffrey.
Aspirin.
Yes. Question 40. What would a marketing student call the arrangement of all key parts of a publication without including specific content? Chandler.
Statistics.
No. Gurdon? It's called the layout. Layout. Question 41. Name the Irish-born writer of such poems as Digging, The Forge, and The Follower, who has also received critical acclaim for a recent translation of Beowulf. No answers. That's Seamus Heaney. Seamus Heaney. In the 2010 elections, Republicans gained a majority in the House of Representatives and more seats in the Senate. What word did President Obama use to describe this political defeat? Wesley, go ahead.
Embarrassing.
No? That would be appropriate, but that wasn't the word he used. Gurdon, do you have an answer? He called it a shellacking. Shellacking. It's a more highbrow word, I guess, than embarrassing. Question 43. Thus far, most of the objects in the universe have been found to rotate in a counterclockwise manner. What term refers to rotation in a clockwise direction? That's called retrograde motion. Question 44 is math. Factor the expression 6x squared minus 11x plus 3. Jeffrey?
The quantity x minus 2 times the quantity x minus 9.
No. Gurdon, answers please. All right, I'll call time. Malia, you called, I think you buzzed in just in time. What do you have?
3x minus 1 quantity, and then quantity x minus 3.
You're very close. 3x minus 1 times the quantity 2x minus 3. All right, let's move on to number 45. What two-word term refers to the differences in customs, attitudes, and beliefs between youth and adult? The correct answer will begin with the letter G. Dylan.
Generation gap.
You're right, Dylan. Question number 45. Identify the indefinite pronoun in the following conversation. That isn't the point. I don't like the idea of someone wandering around our house in the middle of the night, so you go, Jeffrey.
Someone.
Right. Question 47. What phase of metabolism involves the breakdown of food compounds? Malia.
Catabolism.
Right. Question number 48. It hosted the Super Bowl in 2004, and it is now the home of the Houston Texans. What is, Malia?
Astrodome.
No. What is the name of this NFL stadium named after an energy company? Cedar Ridge, no answer. It's Reliant Stadium, Reliant. Question 49 is a math computation. Determine the value for the sine of the angle that has a radian measure of pi over 6. Jeffrey?
The square root of 3 over 2.
No. Answers, please, Gurdon. All right, I'll call time. No, it's simply 1/2. 1/2. All right, question 50. Name the 1786 convention that set the date for the Constitutional Convention of 1787. Wesley?
The Federalist Convention.
No. Gurdon? It was called the Annapolis Convention because of where they met. Well, that happened to be the last question of the game, and so if there are no challenges, we'll see if we have any challenges from either team. No challenges? Well, with our score at Cedar Ridge 185 and Gurdon 140, we congratulate Cedar Ridge as our 2A state champion.
Wow, Bill. That's all I can say is wow.
Well, didn't we see the difference even in both teams, how they began to play a little bit better that second half, and I knew that was going to happen. The thing I'm impressed with is look at Cedar Ridge's team and think, no seniors on that team. I'm going to expect them to be back next year, and especially their chemistry teacher needs, or their science teacher needs a pat on the back. That 62nd round was fabulous. That won the game.
Yes.
I mean, that, and we'll see that during the day. 62nd round is a trap.
So what can the teams that are coming up after these teams, what can they learn from what we just saw?
Well, as you go through the day, you're going to have been exposed to some of these questions, so the questions kind of flow. It's the same writer, so you're going to kind of see how they flow. And the other thing is when you get up there is try to stay focused.
Okay.
Don't let all this stuff around you bother you, the cameras, the people, things like that, because this is probably the biggest crowd they've performed in.
Okay. Now you were talking about the change with the math computation earlier. How much difference does 5 seconds make?
Oh, tremendous difference. When you're doing these things, if you'll notice, most of those students are not putting a pencil to a piece of paper. They're thinking through the problem, and they might put a few little notes down, but when you're looking at it, listening to a problem, and you're figuring it out, you're doing most of the calculation in your head. That extra 5 seconds is phenomenal.
Okay.
And we're going to see a lot of them get them today that would have missed them last year.
Okay. All right. I think we are ready to go to the set for the awarding of the trophy and the check with Vicki Johnson and Sandy Matthews.
I'd like to congratulate the second place team, Gurdon.
And I have a check from Quizbo for $1,600 for you and your team. Great job.
An extra big congratulations to the state champions, Cedar Ridge. Congratulations.
And here's a check on behalf of AGQB for $3,200 for your team. Congratulations, a great job.
And our MVP goes to Malaya Chester. Congratulations. Here you go. Can you put this on?
And Malaya, here's a check for $250. Use it well. Thank you. Good job.
And now for the 2A all-tournament team members, Carolyn Fry.
Yes, in addition to Malaya, who is the all-tournament MVP, the team consists of Jeffrey Stewart from Cedar Ridge, who fought a close second there, Will Adams of Eureka Springs, Amber Rowland of Buffalo Island Central, Edward Hawthorne of Walnut Ridge, Samantha Ezel of Quitman, Robbie Riggs of Conway Christian, Kenneth Riddle of Magazine, Cameron Ross of Cotter, and Hannah Curtis of Magazine. Congratulations to the all-tournament team as well.